Hey everybody, Vicky Fitch here, your direct sales expert. I am coming to you live from sunny Southern California as usual. Now, I am super glad that you guys are here and hopefully Periscope is working today because as you guys probably know that Twitter is shutting Periscope off and going to only use Twitter. And hey Carrie, welcome to the broadcast. Marsha, welcome. Quantum Leap, welcome to the broadcast. Appreciate you guys being here. Bitcoin, welcome, welcome again. It made me do my switch today, so I wasn't sure if it was going to actually work on Periscope or not. So thanks for being here, guys. Do me a favor, do a girl a solid, hit that share button and let people know we're here. Oh, I know we are living in a movie. It's a crazy time. Sometimes I feel like it's the Matrix. Sometimes I think it's Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, it feels weird, but the more and more stuff that goes on, it feels like we're living in a movie. Like, I can't tell if it's this B script or it's this amazing, intricate script somebody wrote, and it's really freaking me out. So put a one in the chat box if you actually felt that way. Like, could this really be happening? Is this happening in the United States of America? Is this happening in the world today? The Matrix is a great film, absolutely. But it's also like, it's really thought provoking, right? I think it called The Last Days. JC, I'm with you, my friend, because it feels like the last days. These are weird times. There's a fourth one coming out soon. Excellent. Well, I think it's probably kind of been written right now, right? If you took the script of what's going on right now in our lives here, and certainly in the United States of America, um, and kind of flipped the characters and made a few changes, you could certainly put it in the Matrix that people are feeling confused and frustrated about what's real and what isn't, and who's telling the truth and who isn't, and who wants to take the pill and who doesn't, right? Who wants to actually just keep their head buried in the sand, and who wants to actually expose the truth, because there excuse me, there's truth that's buried here somewhere. There's always different sides of truth. Sorry, guys. If you don't know, I've had pneumonia, and so I got to keep drinking some water. And then, of course, if you drink it and it goes down the wrong pipe, that's not good either. Okay, so we just got released from stay at home in the Greater Sacramento. Did you really, Carrie? That's awesome, because we're in the weirdest time here. There's different places. I know there's some different places up there that are kind of open, right? Some restaurants are open. Hey, Kim, welcome to the broadcast again, everybody. Thank you for hitting that share button. Now it looks like only Periscope is working. I don't know what's going on, because now the people that were here from Facebook are gone. Like, whoop, they just disappeared. So I don't know. Hopefully you guys can see and hear me okay. Can anybody confirm whether you see me over on Facebook or not? Is it even producing? Because like I said, it all of a sudden it just deleted, and then it came, and I don't know. Well, they'll just have to live. They're either there or not, right? Okay, so if you are there on Facebook and you can see and hear me, if you guys could go ahead and put a message in the chat box, because for some reason it's not pulling them here. You guys disappeared from my chat back here. Melanie, I see, is on YouTube, so welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's talk about being in a movie, right? I mean, put a 2 in the chat box if you felt a little discombobulated lately, but all the information that's coming out. And when I say lately, I don't even mean just the last 30 days. I mean, maybe the last 6 months, even the last 9 months. It's been, since the coronavirus hit, everything has felt a little bit surreal. Would you guys agree? I mean, you start seeing things. Thanks, Mel. Appreciate that. I see you on Facebook too. Oh, great. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it so very much. Everything started to change, right? I mean, I know, and I'd love to know where you guys are at, but I know I was scheduled. You guys know I had just completed in 2019. I did the 12 books, 12-month project, which, by the way, today is Evict the Bully in Your Head Day. This is the second year anniversary of Evict the Bully in Your Head. And I was leaving in 3 days for my book tour. I had 5 speaking engagements set in Chicago, and then that was the catalyst for the rest of our events for the year. And then the coronavirus hit. And then I remember, when it started and they were like, I think we're still going to do it. I don't know. And then all of a sudden a campus closed and a school closed. No, we're still having you come. And the bookstores like, no, we're still having you come. And then boom, 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 it just continued on to where now I have had all that stuff that we had scheduled for the entire year of 2020. Nothing happened. I mean, I did 2 or 3 online events, conferences online, but that's different than traveling all over the world and speaking. Hey, DJ, welcome. So it's different. So life changes, right? And so I feel like I was living in a movie. I mean, here I spent an entire year to write these 12 books in 12 months. And the next year, I don't know about you guys, but each year I come up with a title for the year. The year of writing, the year of, and that was our year of speaking. It was our we were doing book tours, and I mean everything was so great. We had podcast interviews scheduled in different cities and countries. We had, I mean, there was so much amazing thing. Like if you would have told me this time last year, in January of last year of 2020, that my whole entire year was going to completely fall apart. And I was going to be able to do none of the speaking engagements in person. I couldn't do any more book signings. I would have said you were crazy. So when we look at this and feel like it's a movie, right? I have 1,500 and cancel Southwest airline tickets all speak, right, Carrie? That's that exactly. I had a couple of them on Southwest. I think I have some American, and then United, and then or I can't even remember which ones. But then you saw the thing what happened the other day, which somebody said Trump 2020 on the plane, wasn't it? Was it United? No, was it United? Do you guys remember I shared that thing out, or was it Delta or United? Anyway, they kicked the man off the plane for saying Trump 2020. We can thankfully always rely on gummy bears. At least they're predictable and consistent. You know what, JC? We got to pick something that's predictable, right? But he said Trump 2020 and he got kicked off the plane. Now, that's stuff in movies. That's stuff in a B flick movie, like a bad movie. Like nobody's going to buy it because people will sue or this will happen. But all of a sudden the world's flipped over on its head and people are accepting the unacceptable, right? And today, I don't know if you guys know, is actually, as I told you, it's Evict Bully in Your Head Day. But I remember I think I cannot put my thing up at the same time as I'm in here. So I'm going to put it up for a second because I don't I'm going to put this up. This is the thing that we sent out today, but it's just reminding us, and then I'm going to talk about it in just a second. Don't accept unacceptable behavior. And you look at this for a second and check it out and see what you guys think. Okay, so I wish I could put us both up at the same time, and I don't know why I can't, because it shows me that I can, but it's not doing it. So I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. But the point is that, don't accept unacceptable behavior, even from yourself. And I want you to kind of look at that today with what's going on and whether or not we're living in a movie, right? The things that are going on are unpredictable right now. We don't know from day to day what's going to happen because what's up is down and what's down is up. Things have completely flipped from where they were before. They have just gone completely topsy turvy. And so the things that you could have counted on, 6 months ago, you can't count on anymore, or a year ago, you can't count on anymore. And so we have to then look at our own behavior too. And this is, I think, a really critical piece. Like, how are you acting? How are you acting out in public? How are you acting when people are either wearing a mask or not wearing a mask? Have you changed as a person? Have you become more judgmental? Are you flippant and sassy? Are you rude and disrespectful? Are you quietly contemplative? Are you willing to step up, stand out, and speak when you see something going wrong? When you see people being treated poorly? I mean, as we start watching like these news broadcasts and stuff, I remember I think it was probably about 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago, where those people were sitting in the outdoor restaurant and somebody from the Black Lives Matter movement came up and started screaming. It was a black girl that started screaming at these white people, screaming at them. Everybody else just sat there. Nobody said a word. These people were verbally attacked for sure, and they hadn't done anything wrong from what I recall from the situation. She just started attacking them, and and nobody is willing to call out bad behavior. Nobody's willing. I mean, somebody should have called the police. The manager should have come over, but people are all so afraid to do what's right that people are allowing unacceptable behavior, even from themselves. Things that you wouldn't have thought you would do before, now all of a sudden you're doing or not doing. Things you thought, of course, I would defend someone's honor or character, or I would support someone I know. But then when the mob rule comes, do you have that courage? Do you have that strength? And it doesn't make you a bad person if you don't, but you just have to remember. Like Carrie said, they were probably afraid of getting beaten up. Absolutely. I'm sure they were. And I'm sure I would be afraid too. But I like to believe that I would step up, stand out and speak, and that I would not sit there and allow someone else to get verbally and emotionally abused. I would like to think that. Now, I mean, I wasn't in the situation, so I don't know what occurred. So I can't really speculate on a broad scale, but I can tell you that if it was a child, I would definitely stand up, right? I mean, because if somebody was in there screaming and yelling at a child, whether it was their parent or someone else, and they were being abusive, I would stand up. It doesn't mean I'd slug them in the face. It means I'd get involved. I'd intervene and say, "Hey, is everything okay? Is there something that we can do?" So, if we're willing to get involved when it's a child because we think that they're scared and can't take care of themselves, can we remember that adults get scared too? That just the knowing that other people are there and aren't going to watch. I mean, did we not see people on the streets watching people get attacked and kicked and punched and pummeled on the ground while they're on the ground, an elderly man I remember once, and people just sat there. I'm not judging. Please remember this. This is not about judgment. This is about us doing a second take inside and saying, "Wait, what do I stand for? Who am I?" I'm not living in a movie. It feels like a movie, and it feels like I can just watch things go by and try and figure out what happened, but we have to re-engage. We have to engage with the people that we come in contact with. We have to engage with the things that we see that are wrong. I'm sure you guys know the quote, and I will. Sometimes I know the quotes that I'm going to quote, and sometimes they come off the top of my head. I know the actual quote, but I can't remember who said it. But so I know Carrie Shearer probably will come up with the answer for me. But the what is it? The what happens? Let's see. To good people when good people do nothing. Let's see. You know that one. But if we, as good people, watch things falling apart, whether it's politically or emotionally or physically, and we're watching things happen that we know are wrong, but we're too afraid to say something, then we become part of the problem. And I'm not judging. I've seen when I watch movies and all of a sudden there is, a mom with her two babies in the car that sees her husband getting beat up mercilessly by some thugs. Does she get out and try and help her husband when she probably will get attacked? Does she drive away to save her children? Does she, there's these dilemmas that we never know how exactly we're going to handle. We try and think, in the calm of our living room while we're eating popcorn, or at the what used to be the theater while we're eating popcorn. How would I handle that? But right now, we have to make some decisions and we have to make some choices. And even if we don't personally, even if we think what's happening is wrong, and we don't personally have the strength to to step up, sometimes just coming alongside people, maybe behind the scenes, sending them a message saying, I saw what you did, and I just wanted you to know that I support you. Sometimes you just have to do that if you can't do it yourself. I know some people will send me messages and saying, "Hey, I really support X, Y, and Z. I'm in this field and I'm not allowed to post things, but I just wanted you to know that I see you and I hear you, and I applaud you," or something. So who are you and what are you standing for? What kind of movie are you living in? Are you going to end up being the person that ends up being the victim? Are you going to be the person that ends up being the hero? Are you going to end up being the person that's the support staff? Who are you in your own life? Because that's what I feel like is happening right now. People are getting depressed and discouraged. They haven't been going outside, they haven't been doing anything. And now they're getting more withdrawn and more fearful about the potential and possibilities, whether it has to do with job or food or work or people. And I want to encourage you. Like I said, there's no judgment here. There's a reminder that sometimes when we are depressed and discouraged and we've become withdrawn, that what we need to do to make ourselves feel better is to step up, right? To step up and do something. And maybe that something is writing a letter to a congressman, or maybe that something is just liking a post or defending a position of someone. But this isn't a movie, right? This is our lives. And so you are picking right now who you are. You're picking with your psyche, what kind of person am I someone I'm proud of? Now, so look at your behavior. Are you a keyboard coward that's been, taking your position, whatever it is, whatever side you're on issues? Are you using your keyboard cow as a keyboard coward and going there and attacking other people? Are you trying to ask questions and be someone that's trying to bridge a gap? Are you someone that's creating the cancel culture and that you're trying to rile other people up? Because when you're that kind of person, you don't feel good about it inside. You might feel good for a minute or a little while while you're hanging out with those people, but you're not going to feel good about you because that's not who we are. I mean, typically, unless you're a sociopath, I don't think you enjoy the turmoil of others, right? And I don't know, do sociopaths even enjoy others' turmoil? I mean, like sociopaths don't feel, right? I mean, I know they're kind of anyway, I don't know. We'll have to get into that topic another one. Let's see. If you call out bad behavior, you get banned on social media. You do. And I have to say, I don't know how much longer you guys are going to see me because I am choosing. This is an arena I feel like God's called me to step up, stand out and speak in. Not sure how long you're going to see me. You'll know I'm sure like I said, I my Facebook stuff was there. Yesterday we had I think 102 people here. I hadn't been on in a while cuz I've been very sick and we had 102 people all together. I think we have like 23 right now, and most of them are from Periscope and YouTube. They're not from Facebook, which normally most of the people are from Facebook because of multiple channels. So I know I'm getting censored. I mean, I know that, and that's okay. That's why I tell people, hey, set your alarm for 6 o'clock. I'm going to try and keep going on at 6 o'clock every day. Because you're not going to get the notifications. You're not going to know when I'm here. You're not going to know what's happening. And because they don't want you to know, and they don't want you to know because I'm being vocal. I'm being very vocal about it, but I'm also trying to be nice. Although I did get tired of some of the trolls, like people that are supposed to be friends that are trolling and just calling them out on their behavior and saying, "Hey, you know what? You just need to just pick what you're doing. Are you trying to if you want to be a troll, then I'll treat you like a troll. If you want to be a friend, then I'll treat you like a friend." But, trolling doesn't work too well because friendly trolls are not, unless they're actually just trying to be funny and they're just getting annoying, it's just wrong. So pick if you don't like something, ask some questions and try and generate interest and intrigue from the other side. Try and figure out why people feel the way they do. And maybe you may not never change your mind, but you might be able to help bridge the gap because when you can see something from a different perspective, then you have something alternate to offer. You can say, okay, I see that. Now, I still don't agree with it, but what if this was the situation? Would you still feel the same? And then you can create conversation. Let's see. The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is good people to do nothing from Edmund Burke. Thank you, Carrie. And evil triumphs when good men do nothing. Yes, Kim, thank you. And Carrie, I knew Carrie would pull that out because he's like, he's the guy right there. Kim said, yes, a lot of people are getting depressed and discouraged. I have seen many, many friends that are like getting into deep depressions, like clinical depressions that maybe weren't depressed before. Even my own husband is getting really discouraged. He is a social butterfly. The man needs to be out and about. I mean, he used to be out 3 nights a week at, mixers and events. He was the ambassador of the year in the chamber because that's who he is. And so for me, I'm an extrovert, but I'm totally fine by myself. Like I have no problem hanging out alone, regrouping, writing and my books and my journals. And I mean, I don't have any problem with that, but he really, really needs it. Now I get some input from you guys. Like when I do my live streams, we get to interact. I love to hug and touch people and connect with them, but I'm okay, but people are getting discouraged and literally, not just figuratively, but physically depressed. Let's see. I need certain platforms to connect with family, so I'm limiting my posts. There you go. And like I said, you get to pick. Nobody should be judging you in what you do or don't do, but saying, "Oh, look at chicken." Remember how kids I don't know, I'm dating myself. Maybe the people are like, "Chicken, you're a chicken." Like that was their big taunt to get you to do something because they called you a chicken. Now people call you a racist and they call you all kinds of stuff to try and goad you into doing what they want you to do or being the person they want you to be. So you don't have to, again, remember what I showed you guys before. Don't accept unacceptable behavior. right? Don't accept unacceptable behavior. That's physical abuse, mental abuse. Don't. But don't accept it from yourself either. Don't try and kid yourself that that you're doing the right thing when you know you're doing something wrong. Don't try and kid yourself into thinking that you are leading people when you're tucking your head into the sand. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just, you have to be honest about who you are and where you want to be. Because maybe you're okay where you are. Some people want to grow and they want to change and they want to be different. Those people will never feel good about themselves when they stop they stunt their own growth because of fear. You guys, if you guys read that book right there, Evict the Bully in Your Head, fear is a liar, right? And I love Brene Brown says, and I use this in the book as just one of the under quotes, that fear is a liar and a story stealer. And that is absolutely no, actually, she says shame is a liar and a story stealer, and which is true. But fear is also a liar, right? Fear, he tells us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not strong enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not rich enough, we're not bold enough. He lies to us to try and get us to do what he wants. And that's what's happening in the world today. People are using fear to control you, and we've got to stop that. And by the way, if you guys haven't hit the share button, will you do a girl a solid and hit the share button? If you're getting some value here, if you're my regular Perry peeps or my Facebook fans, I'd really appreciate that. And my YouTube people, you guys can grab that link and share it out, because we want people to know that there's a place for hope. And we don't judge people here, but we give you something to think about. We give you something to contemplate and say, am I being the person I want to be? Do I want to be different? And if I do, but I don't know how, you can make baby steps. You can make baby steps, but you should be making baby steps to where you want to be, not allowing someone else to create the measuring stick. Okay? This is super important. You need to be the guardian of your own measuring stick. People don't get to push you into doing things their way because they think it should be done, and they should be done this way, and it should be done enough, or like, that way. It should be done the way I say. The way you do it is your way. It is okay. And remember, the premise of this book, I keep doing this. The premise of this book is that you are enough just the way you are, right? That you're not going to allow other people's, their opinions to change who you are and your perspective. Remember, your internal circumstances have nothing, I mean, your external circumstances have nothing to do with your internal value. Your value as a person is rock solid. Now, your value to deliver to the world, you have to decide what you want, but you're enough just the way you are. And you can make baby steps and to continue, because remember, truth is one of the Headspace heroes. And if you guys haven't read that book, yeah, this one. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you do. It's really an excellent book. And it's not because I wrote it, it's because it tells stories and gives you, it creates a story that gives you an opportunity to recognize your value. I think it is in Dare to Lead, Melanie. I'm not sure which one it is. Let's see. Get Hubby on Clubhouse app, audio only. We are not on an iPhone. That's why I'm not on Clubhouse yet. We're Android users. My kids are on that. Go to openbazaar.org and sell it there. What is he talking about? What is he selling? Did I miss something? I got so mad that Facebook blocked the ads account. Oh, a patriotic me for selling benign flat. Oh, gotcha. A troll will always be a troll, right? You guys have seen some trolls that we've had. We've had troll conversions. We also have friends that turn to weird trolls, but that's, it is what it is. Let's see. The block button is so convenient. I've never blocked anyone, right? I did three people. I unfollowed them, not unfriended. I unfollowed because I don't want to see their posts anymore. They're parroting other people's stuff and they don't even understand what they're saying. And it bothers me. Choose your battles. Absolutely. Hey, Donna, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. Truth is we are enough. Exactly, Carrie. Yes, it's good to see you here too. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Hey, welcome to the broadcast. Ask God. I don't know what that said. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. Are we living in a movie? So what movie, if you had to describe your life right now, what movie would it be? What movie would you describe it? Did you address the topic of turning the other cheek and its misrepresentation in your work? Not in that book. In Christianpreneur, I talk about it. That was book 10, I think it was. So, it's a really good topic because people do turning the other cheek doesn't mean being abused. It doesn't mean being a doormat and allowing people to treat you like garbage. That's not what Jesus meant. But what Jesus meant was, um, when people are being turds, when people are being rude and disrespectful to you, right? And they're heaping on garbage, that you don't have to heap it back. You don't have to turn it into a battle. You don't have to. And sometimes, the flesh gets to us and we do. And sometimes, you know, like for me, I allow a little bit of sarcasm to try and help put people in their place, but we have to remember that we should never be doing it out of anger, right? Turning the other cheek has nothing, it's got nothing to do with, like I said, with allowing abuse. I remember, yes, the trolls usually do hate themselves. They feel they're really. That's why "Evict the Bully in Your Head" is a really good book for them, because they feel like they have no value, and so they try and pump themselves up. As a matter of fact, somebody started acting really rude and disrespectful on a friend of mine's post, and then started attacking me. I was super nice and saying, "Hey, blah blah blah," and just say this. This is what I found, and here, whatever. And this person just got like, but again, this is a person that is totally insecure. If you've read Evict the Bully in Your Head, you know that there are two twins, cockiness and confidence. They're twin brothers. They look identical from the outside. It's the way they act, it's their mannerisms that show the difference. Confidence is quiet and demure. Confidence doesn't have to yell and scream. That's cockiness. Cockiness is, look at me, I'm smart and you aren't. And confidence just says, oh, it's really nice to meet you. And when people blather on about something that's not true, they don't feel the need to crush them and tell them they're wrong and they're a liar. That's cockiness. Confidence might ask some questions and say, are you sure about that? My understanding is different. Or did you want to maybe check that out? I think I could give you some resources if you'd like to check that out. Confidence doesn't need to put people down. Now, I won't say that sarcasm does not sometimes visit as one or the other. That's, there's the bullies and the headspace heroes. And sometimes they participate at the same time. But we have to remember, if your goal is not to put someone down, it's not to hurt them, but sometimes make them see that perhaps they're not correct. And when they're putting other people down, it's not an appropriate way. That, there are nice ways to kind of what we do, a fitch slap, right? If you guys have ever been here, or you guys know, a fitch slap is a public service. It only comes out when necessary. It's always done in love, and it's used to redirect the course of someone who's gone astray. So when people start getting all stuck up in their high and mightiness, that a little fitch slap can bring them down, and saying, really, like checking, maybe they can check a reference or something. And some people are just wrong. They don't know how to admit they're wrong, but they're just plain wrong. And we don't have to get cocky and rude and self-righteous to tell them. Melanie says, I have been tempted to turn something into a battle, but I think it through and don't do it. I had posted something the other day letting you guys know that, because you guys know I had done the, we're not going to take it show. That there's a lot of people taking advantage of consumers. And right now during COVID, I've noticed it's happening even more, because people don't think other people have the financial resources to take them to court. So they're really taking advantage. We've had a couple situations where I need to do I need to do something. I almost like, I want to let things go because I just don't want to deal with it, but I know it's not the right thing to do, because if they're doing it to me, who I'm really good at communicating and standing up for myself, they're doing it to 10 or 100 other people that aren't really good at sticking up for themselves. And so it's really hard. But what I I told myself that I would take that mantle on when I wasn't angry about it anymore. Because I think somebody asked me the other day about, well, actually, it was my husband asked me the other day about righteous anger and what righteous anger is. So I don't know. Do you guys put a 3 in the chat box if you know what righteous anger is? Because the Bible tells us that we are not to get angry, right? And we're not to sin. But it also talks about Jesus and his righteous anger. Well, Jesus got into a righteous anger about the money changers trying to rip people off, or to do things at the temple, right? And so what I said to he goes, well, Jesus was mad. And I said, well, a righteous anger is when it has nothing to do with you, I believe. And it doesn't mean it's like, it means because you're emotionally separated. It's hard to have a righteous anger when you have something to lose or someone's attacking you, it's hard. I don't know that it can be a righteous anger. Maybe you guys have some input there too. But a righteous anger is your anger towards something that's happening to someone else. And a righteous anger doesn't mean that you're physically abusing people. Like I said, Jesus flipped over the tables, so they couldn't continue on with their horrible practices. Right? He removed the opportunity for them to do what they were doing. And I think that's where what's important, that we need to not be angry when we take on those mantles, because nothing good is gonna come out of it when you're pissed off. I mean, it's just not, because if it goes your way, then you become haughty and self-righteous. That's right, because that's the anger has to go somewhere, right? It funnels somewhere, and that either it doesn't come out in peace and harmony, right? But a righteous anger can, because when you do something for the right reasons, if it goes your way, you can still be humble about it and be just totally grateful. And if it doesn't go your way, you can accept, that it didn't go right. Just even like with personal circumstances, when it's not necessarily a righteous anger, but when you're in the right place and say, you know what? Yeah, this might cost me another $10,000 to fight this, but I still feel like I need to do it. Now, if I lose, it was God's money anyway. And if I win, then praise the Lord. Then what I was doing was right. And that's what I needed to do. And but we have to be in the right place, because if we're in this haughty self-righteous, then nothing good's gonna come of it. Does that make sense? Put a 5 in the chat box if that makes sense. Um, let's see. Some people won't listen. Ain't that the truth? I've seen a lot of cockiness, especially when people get confronted with the truth. They start saying F you instead of carrying on an intelligent conversation. Isn't that the truth? I mean, when people don't want to hear what you have to say, or they think they're right, and they don't even, if you don't know the facts, and you hear something like, it's very often that we'll hear something, maybe it's from our parents, from our peer group, from our friends, from our boss. They tell us things and we know that they know their stuff, and so we trust what they're saying, right? We don't necessarily know it as a fact because we haven't done the research or whatever, but we just believe that. We have to be really careful, because there's good people that make mistakes, or good people that interpret information differently that we would interpret it if we actually read it ourselves, or if we actually looked at either a commentary or listened to somebody else talk about it and go, ooh, I don't actually agree with them. And so we need to be really careful about what we dig our heels in and take a stand on. And I mentioned to you guys yesterday that our theme this year is bloom where you're planted, remembering that we want our roots to grow deep wherever we are. If you're in a situation you don't want to be in, that then change it. But you don't have to change it by physically moving or leaving. Now, I'm not talking about abusive things. If you're in an abusive relationship, you literally need to go. It's just go. If you're just in a situation where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have a job, or I don't have this, or I don't have that, and you're just feeling all you got to bloom where you're planted. We got to figure out where you are and figure out how you can grow from within the situation and from within the circumstances that are happening, instead of constantly trying to get out of it. I got because in many of you guys know, especially if you've read my books, that my first husband, I was only married for a year, but he was an alcoholic drug addict. And I have a lot of alcoholism and drug addiction in my family and different family members and stuff. And so I started going to Al-Anon. And so I recognized the value set of in Al-Anon. One of the things that they say is that a geographic isn't going to change things, right? People who are upset with themselves, sorry guys, people that are upset with themselves um, want to change things. They either want to blame or they want to run away. They got to get, no, it's his fault, and I wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for you, or this or that. They don't recognize the value of assessing your situation and figuring out how you can blossom and how you can bloom where you are. And so they want to run away. They want to, get a new job, find a new place to live. They're behind on their bills, so they want to, just skip out on that apartment and go try and find another one. That's not probably the best answer for you. I mean, you know, the answer for your integrity is to try and dig in and take care of your business, right? I mean, the way to feel good about yourself is to accomplish something and come up with a plan to fix what's gone wrong. And maybe you need some help. Maybe you got to talk to somebody. Maybe you need a bankruptcy attorney, because you don't know what your options are. those are legal remedies that are available, especially for things right now. And if you're going through a really bad financial situation, and you shouldn't allow shame to stop you from looking at your alternatives. I know there's many people that I could never look at myself in the face again. The reason it's a legal remedy is because it happens sometimes. It happens. People get into situations that aren't good. They make a mistake, or they lose a job, or they have a global pandemic, and all of a sudden life changes, and you got to choose between feeding the kids, or paying for the credit card, or whatever it is. I don't know. But the thing is, you shouldn't feel shame. You should recognize that you still have value, and to get look at legal remedies for what they are. That's why they're there. That doesn't make you a loser or someone that should be ashamed. It makes you someone who's real and who's smart enough to try and look at their options. So I want to just remind you guys about that. If someone resorts to name calling and swearing at me, I just block them. There's no talking to those people. You're absolutely right. Hey, Carpio, welcome to the broadcast. Most of those people are. As a matter of fact, I haven't gone back to see what lovely Venom, that young lady that was yelling at me earlier, was, sent for. And she, it's funny. She made a statement that was inaccurate, and I said, I didn't even say she was inaccurate. And I said, well, maybe you could look at it this way, because, here's some information, that shows the different things. And I didn't put links there, but I just said there's a few things, and that's not typically the way it's done. And then she attacked that. Oh, thank you, sweetie, appreciate it, Jay. Hey, Dawn, welcome to the broadcast. And she's like, oh, listen here, blah blah blah, I am this, I am that, I'm smarter than you don't know anything. And she wrote, show me or shut up, in her comment back to me. And so I went back to her and I said, well, just so we're clear, I'm not your errand girl. So if you want to discover the truth, you're going to actually have to go find it for yourself. And if you would have asked nicely, or if you would have actually had a conversation, an adult conversation, I would have been happy to supply the links for you. But if you want to keep yourself in the dark, feel free. And I made a comment about needing to try and put others down. Like, get over yourself, build a bridge and get over it, right? This is ridiculous. Like, but the thing is that she's so insecure. Only insecure people, okay, let me back it up for a minute. Happy, confident people don't try and hurt people, other people down, or show how cool they are. They just don't. Happy, confident people don't do that. Just let that sink in for a second and tell me if you disagree. Have you ever met a really happy, confident person that tried to put other people down, made them upset, or tried to hurt them? They just don't, right? Yes, I am married, Jay. Thank you so much. They just don't. And so I recognize that she's insecure and trying to prove who she is and what degrees she has. I don't care what degrees you have. I mean, people that don't have a degree can be just as wise as someone who does have a degree in certain areas. Like that, it doesn't matter. You can say, I actually, you can have a conversation. You guys get what I'm saying. You can have a conversation. If you want a conversation, have one. Doesn't the president do that? Doesn't he do what? Art of tease? What did you mean? Um, let's see. They don't need to. They don't need to what? They don't need to be, yeah, confident people they don't need to put other people down. They don't need to be cocky and self-righteous. They just need, confident people are different. Does our president act cocky sometimes? He actually does, and I don't necessarily think his is as much from insecurity as I do from, and see, as a marketer or someone that I can recognize how lonely his position is. The man is backstabbed by people that are supposed to be his greatest confidants, and they continue to stab him in the back. And I can only imagine. And since the media completely, even before this whole shutout with Twitter and Facebook, which honestly I think is unbelievable in terms of not only his position, he is still the leader of the free world at a minimum for the next 8 days. But what they're showing is that if they can do that to him, they can do that to any of us. That we really don't matter. And if they'll do it to him, they'll do it to anyone. And so I've lost any trust I had for the platforms for sure. Let me read that exactly. They have nothing to prove. The president made a career of putting people down. Artists, I don't know that I would say that he made a career of putting people down. If we're talking about his presidency or we're talking about before that, I mean, on his show, The Apprentice, that's part of the show, right? The drama of the show. But as the presidency, I don't agree with that. I mean, of course, we only get to see the more public part. His tweets definitely are sarcastic, and I feel like, again, I feel like there is a maturity level there that I would have loved to have elevated. If I was in charge of him, which no one is, even his press team and stuff, they're not they can't control him. And I think that's one of the things that people really like about him. I think that's what people were tired of. They're tired of politicians that were lying to them, that were giving them whatever they wanted to during the process, and then just not delivering. Because Trump is really the only president. Reagan did some, but not as many of his promises came true as Trump. Trump really was kind of a steamroller on the promises he made during the election. Hi Fitch, how's your son doing? Which one? Are you talking about Elijah, the one who was passing out? He's doing much better, thank you. The president made a career of putting people down. I don't believe that's true. Like I said, he's certainly throws his weight around and makes some sarcastic comments on Twitter, or did, of course. But again, the media lied. The fake news, he was really right. Now, when he first started talking about fake news, I didn't honestly I didn't really understand what he meant until I started digging, because I kind of ignored him like a lot of you guys probably did, like whatever, whatever. But then when I would watch a press conference, or I'd watch C-SPAN, I'd watch literally the interaction that happened, and then I'd hear the news talking about it. I'm like, wait, that's not what happened. I watched that. I saw that. That's not what happened. And then I started going, wait a minute. And I started digging and looking and found that he was right about the fake news. And a lot of this stuff, like I said, and they are right. We're being censored. I mean, the Google. If you guys use DuckDuckGo and like Brave, for instance, which JL just told me about yesterday, but when you search things, you come up with all kinds of different information that the mainstream media doesn't. They don't report. And you find details like even when Newsom and these billion-dollar mask deals, the mainstream media hasn't been posting about it. I had to go to smaller publications like the Sacramento Bee and local publications and small online journalists, and they're actually the ones pulling the paperwork and actually putting copies in their work so you could see. So I did my own research and realized the mainstream media really was and has been jerking the man around, and nobody ever gives him praise for all the things he does. And you know, if he doesn't talk about it, no one will. And I guess that's the approach he's taken, because he's dealing with things differently. He's got to talk to billions of people, and anyway, I think what they've done to him is absolutely outrageous. And so I think that he could do things differently for sure, and I would love to have some of those changes. But I think it also made him who he is and why so many people really liked him. He made a career of stabbing everyone he knows in the back. I don't agree with that, Art of Tease. If you want to give some examples of what he did in the White House that you actually have facts, not that you've heard from mainstream media, let's have a discussion on it. Even if you want to pop some, send PM me some information you want to talk about, and we'll go do some research, and then we can have a conversation. I'm happy to do that, because I don't want to sugarcoat things that the man has done. I mean, he's either done them or he hasn't. Sometimes I think we're too hard on people, and sometimes I think we're too easy on people. Um, and but we need to have a consistent way of dealing with things. And that's why I said we're in the upside down. It's like living in a movie. We're in an upside down world. It's like Dr. Seuss wrote the script right now, because none of this stuff is making sense. I mean, you can do this day but not this day. I mean, let's look at these riots that were happening. This people breaking into the Capitol building is wrong. It's just wrong. But when you hear the accounts of people on the ground and you see some of the videos, the Capitol Police opened the doors, and many people that were walking in said, I didn't know we weren't allowed to go in there. They opened the doors. Then there was another side where there was Antifa, and then people were saying there was no Antifa. Well, Antifa claimed that they were there. Now, were the people that I saw on video really Antifa or just trying to be cool and claiming? I'm not sure. But they weren't all just peaceful protesters, and they weren't, and the people that went into the Capitol weren't all people that were trying to create mayhem. We watched for months and months and months as people burned down buildings and looted and did crazy stuff, and you didn't hear a word out of anyone. And now they're calling for the impeachment of the president because he spoke to the people. He never told anyone to do anything wrong. He never said take out your arms, go light things on fire, break into the Capitol building. I mean, it's so ludicrous that we're going to judge him on this scale, and we judge the rest of everybody that what they were doing. I mean, he didn't do anything. He did a speech that's typical and motivational and reminding people that, so to me, it's unbelievable the outrage that they're feigning right now when they had nothing to say, when people were losing their lives, and Chaz and Chop decided that they were going to establish their own country in the middle of a state or a middle of a city in a state that's already part of the US. The insanity of it all. And now that they say, oh, well, and Kamala Harris says, oh, well, they're not going to stop, and they shouldn't stop what she's saying then. And now some people went into the White House, into the Capitol building, and, like impeach the president. I mean, it's nuts. The scale, the thing where the measuring stick is like it winds around. It's not a measuring stick you can use. So anyway, some of these people who want to put Trump down couldn't handle what he's going through. I can't even imagine handling what he's going through. I really couldn't. So I cannot judge his reactions, but I can continue to pray for him and recognize that I do believe with all my heart that the man wants the best for this country. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I do not believe that about Nancy Pelosi. That's absolutely not. That woman is so self-serving and vicious and vindictive that, and like I said, her moral compass flip-flops all over the place the minute she wants something done versus something else. I mean, it's again, it's like living in a movie. It's living in a movie with a nitwit character that people are fawning over. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I think, like I said, I think she scares people, and she has built so many relationships. That's the only reason she got back in to and was reappointed by her own party to be Speaker of the House. I think it's nuts because she's the woman's not all there. I mean, she just, and I say not all there, not like Joe Biden's not all there, but she's her value set, her commitment to the country wanes. Her commitment to her own self and her own pride doesn't seem to. So that's what I'm talking about. I've been using DuckDuckGo. Yeah, I like DuckDuckGo. And like I said, if you look up, if you guys really want to see some scary and sad things, look up on other browsers outside and dig down and look at the stuff on Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, most of it's probably gone. Well, they can't get rid of it all, but there are videos of Hunter Biden with a 10-year-old girl, and he broke her jaw. And people say, "Oh, well, it's not the president." No, it's not. And I don't think the president should be held accountable for what his son does. I do think that no matter who broke a 10-year-old girl's jaw, it would have been huge news. If his last name was Trump, we would hear it on a news cycle 24/7 for the rest of eternity until he would have been in jail the same day the video broke, right? I mean, that's just a fact. They would have found a way. There's your face. There's this video. That girl's definitely underage, and you are going to jail, right? So he'd be in jail trying to talk about it. Hunter Biden didn't go anywhere. The media didn't talk about it. They pretended it wasn't there. Now, even if it wasn't accurate, the laptop was real, and the media wouldn't even go after the people to say, hey, you're lying, that there's none of that stuff on here, which that tells you something too. Huge stories that are quelched have something to hide. And so we have to start looking. Look on the internet. Don't use Google, right? Stop using YouTube. Go use other search engines. Use DuckDuckGo, use Brave. Go around, look around on the internet for stuff that you probably didn't want to see before. And it's not just one, you're not just going to see one article. You're going to see stuff. Look about, I called it the masquerade. Look up Newsom, Gavin Newsom, and the $1 billion mask deal. We still don't have the masks. It's been a year now. There's a lot. I think there's $250 million of interest that's accrued, because I think it's 250,000. Wait, $250,000 a month was just on the 50,000. I don't know. I'd have to recalculate. But there's a huge sum of money, taxpayer money, that's missing. The masks haven't been here. The company wasn't even a mask manufacturer. I mean, when you look at the details and you look at the fact that they had signed a contract the day before, and then the bank wouldn't transfer the money because this company was brand new, and then they switched it to this other one. It sounds like a money laundering scheme. I mean, from a movie, right? If I was writing a movie script, that would be a perfect way to launder money. And then keep the media talking about other things and not talking about the mask thing, because you're getting some kickbacks there. You know, Gavin Newsom hasn't paid his taxes on one. And now I haven't checked this in the last like 60 days, but he was behind. He hadn't even paid his taxes on one of his estates. Did you know he was gifted? And I got to get the facts right. You have to watch one of the other broadcasts, but it's over $1 million property he was given by his cousin. When you look about who gave it to them, it was, a foreign entity, I believe, gave it to the cousin who gave it to Newsom, who then he refied it and took out $1 million and started renovation. I mean, come on. Like who? I mean, I'd like those giftings too. I mean, but I don't think you're supposed to take $1 million gifts or multi-million-dollar gifts from people, right? Even your cousin shouldn't be able to take it and then give it to you. There's a trail, right? And there's a trail for a reason. But why isn't anybody talking about it? Why some are, OAN, Newsmax, those people have some reporters that are actually looking at. Go look at those places. Go search. It's not like these are unfounded document and people are making stuff up. These are genuine news sources with details and cited sources and copies of information. There's video and audio tape, guys, and people are pretending it's not there, and you're probably saying it's made up. Well, go look for yourself and stop parroting what you hear other people say. But again, I can see why you would think that, because you can't find it on the internet, because Google's suppressing it, right? And Facebook's suppressing it, and Twitter's suppressing it. And look at they've completely suspended the president. Lynn Wood, one of the attorneys, Sidney Powell. There was 4.5 million Americans who had their accounts deactivated or banned, or people lost access to them. Facebook took away the walkaway movement with over, I think it had 1 million people in it. Another Facebook group with over 100,000. These are only conservative groups, guys. They're not hate groups. Conservatives aren't haters. I mean, you can say what you want. Are there extremists on the right just like they're on the left? Of course. But in general, Trump supporters are not extremists. They're just conservative. They believe in the Constitution and they want the best for our country, right? So it's like we got to wake up. We got to wake up. We got to step up, stand out and speak, and we have to stop being silent and ask some good questions. We don't have to be mean, but like I said, I'm sure I'll be censored soon. I mean, I'm sure I'll be gone soon. Like I said, our numbers are down so far, but that's okay. Share it out, copy it, share it into Messenger, let people hear what they hear, and maybe someone will recognize the value of it, and maybe they'll do some research on their own, and maybe they'll know. I'll answer these questions and then we'll get off. Let's see. I've been using Deck. Okay, exactly. He'd be in jail, right, Kim? He'd be in jail, like faster than we could bat an eye. He'd be in jail probably before we even knew the story was hitting. I mean, truthfully, they'd get the information. Oh my gosh, that's Don Trump Jr. They would go, there'd be a raid, and that's what you'd see on TV. Don Trump Jr.'s in jail for this and blah, blah, blah. I mean, and then would anybody go to defend him to find out if it's true? Probably not. And yet here, let's not talk about it. Why don't the Democrats focus on what they will do once Biden is inaugurated? That's a scary thought. Why are they still posting angry posts? Doesn't make any sense to me. Exactly. Well, I still think Trump might have some stuff up his sleeve, because we talked about it yesterday. What those people have done, because we talked about the Italy thing yesterday. The Italy thing, when you have someone who has confessed to the crime of fixing the election and our own government refuses to investigate it, that's treason, because when you have someone confess, this is no longer somebody just saying it happened. Someone confessed. And do you even hear about it? Like I said, the Italy did it. Hashtag Italy did it. Hashtag was trending on Twitter. And then all of a sudden, when they figured out what it was, they got rid of the stuff on YouTube. They kept deleting the videos. I think I still have one if you guys haven't seen it, but the man confessed, and I have a copy of the thing. As a matter of fact, I still have that link up. I still have the link up here. I don't know how long it'll be there for. But anyway, this, if it's still there, is the actual affidavit that the man confessed to what he did and uploading the virus to switch the votes from from Trump to Biden. Let's see. Imagine if Trump said amen and a woman. Wasn't that was pathetic and disgusting. Honestly, that made me so like, ugh. Like, what are we? What are, like I said, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss wrote it. People with critical thinking skills would question why they are impeaching Trump when he only has a few days left. That's what I said, Kim. Like, really? You got 8 days left, and you're focusing all your time and energy on impeaching him. That sounds like you're trying to hide something. It sounds like you're trying to keep things moving so nobody can see it. We know that she wants to impeach him so he can't run in 2024, assuming that Biden does get inaugurated on the 20th. But why, you can't do it in 8 days because you can't get the bill written, get it to the House, get the House to pass it, have the time, get it to the Senate, have the Senate all agree, which I don't think they would, and have a trial before it's over. I mean, it's impossible, and you cannot impeach a private citizen, which at, what is it, 1 p.m. on the 20th, if Biden is inaugurated, that Trump will be a private citizen. You can't impeach him anymore. So you can't do it in the time allotted. And there was a great, I don't know where the one I had, but there was a great article or a little video interview that they did with the attorney, I mean, the law professor and attorney, where is it? I'm trying to, oh, Dershowitz. Yeah, here it is. I'll grab this for you guys too. I saw an article that was done where he said that they can't, there's no way, they don't have enough time. But here's the interview with Dershowitz that says it's just completely unconstitutional and it's ridiculous. And, it's just, it's petty nonsense. They're just trying to distract people. Let's see. If Trump said amen, we would never hear exactly, Melanie, we would never hear the end of it. So I posted it on Parler, but that's gone, of course. The bill only has one item on it. Yeah, I know. There, like I said, it's just nonsense. But anyway, so guys, thank you so much for being here. My goal is to be on at 6 p.m. every day. Now, tomorrow is National Pizza Day, so I'm going to see about doing a live stream from a pizza place. I know we can't sit inside, but about picking up the pizza, or maybe me and my family eating it. We'll see what we're going to do. But tomorrow is National Pizza Day. So pick your favorite pizza parlor, restaurant, place maybe that's in your neighborhood or something. Support local business and get some pizza tomorrow and have some fun. Tag me in it. I'd love to see it. They're wasting taxpayers' money too. That's right. They are. And the whole Russia collusion. If you guys if you've never watched the stuff on C-SPAN, you'd be absolutely astounded at what people have actually confessed to and what information comes out in the governmental meetings and hearings. C-SPAN records the whole thing. Just, they can be boring, so people don't watch them, but I'm telling you, you'll be well informed. Yes, exactly. Anyway, you guys, so remember that today's Evict the Bully in Your Head Day. I know there was a coupon my team had posted out for a discount. If you guys don't have Evict the Bully in Your Head, you can go to VickiFitch.com/5K. .com/5K, and you guys can order one, and I will sign it and mail it to you personally. Anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. And until then, I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Ciao. Bye, guys. Have a great day or great night.